So project management can be as big or as small. You can use the tools and the thought processes regardless of the size of your project. So, first thing, what's the scope? What do you want to accomplish? What's the task you've been given, or what's the purpose, and what's out of scope? What are we not going to solve here, and what are we going to solve? So, project management is herding. If you have ever been a project leader, you are a herder. It is very difficult if you have an invested interest in an outcome for you to be the herder if it is controversial, if it covers multiple groups. And so I, a lot of times, will pick somebody who's a project manager who knows something about the topic but is not the topic expert, because I like some neutrality in that role of being project manager. So you have all kinds of objectives. So think about scheduling. Do you have a scheduling objective? Is it going to change the delivery of whatever it is you're going to try and engage in? And then we forget about cost. And when we think of cost, we often think, do I need FTEs or do I need software? I encourage you to think about that if you're leading a project or if you're delegating it. How much time, personnel time, are you going to spend on this project? What are you going to deliver? People like me want to know what you're going to deliver. Are you meeting just for the sake of meeting? The times where we've failed is we've ended up losing track of what our deliverables were, or changing those deliverables. Success factors. What's going to be really successful? Who are your stakeholders? What do they really want to get out of this? What are your objectives? And you really need to have measures around this. So your project teams. That is a project manager up there. That's the one that's got the ball. They've got the minutes. They know what's going on. Who's your administrative person that's going to keep you going? Do you want to bring a support person in that to keep notes? You know, you're going to have a person who's on point. That person is going to say, wait a minute, I didn't think that this project included that. I thought we were just doing this piece. So that's the person that's really going to focus. Then you have Brett, who's out in the pond someplace, swimming out, you know, whatever, you know, and then you've got the guy who's, or the gal who's going to be humorous and joke around and have diversion and not pay attention. So how are you going to deal with that? And then you've got the one who really cares about feelings, and all the decisions are based on feelings, not on the objectives. And so you have to think about how you're going to manage that person. All of those people have great attributes if you choose to use them. Implementation, you know, punch lists are really crucial on implementation. And one of the things that we forget about is policies and procedures. And so are we going to document this process? And one of the things I really like to do if you're going to do a change project is do a flow diagram of current state. And I learned that through the IT world. Current state, future state. And that gives you very easily objective gaps, and that's helpful to you. Okay, so your resources. You know, you got people, you've got equipment, you got locations, you know, are you out in the mountains? Or you got 4 clinics, have you got 1? So my point to you is you really have to consider your environment. Outside services, I brought a collie in because, you know, collies are not border collies. So are you going to pull in some content experts, somebody who's done this before? You're going to ask for consultant help. So what are your outside services that you're going to pull in? And then manufacturing. How are you going to produce this? And then sales. Sales is the most important part. Who is going to be your sales force? Who's going to go out there and be expert users and really convince people that this change is something that really is beneficial to you? We think we can automate things. Okay, so we want to go automate this. Well, I'm always going to ask you the question, does the automation cost more than what you would do without that automation? Because a lot of times that automation is very expensive and it's ongoing. So look at your cost. Project schedules and milestones, very crucial for you to have. These do not have to be elaborate. They don't have to look like an electrical diagram. But it's really important for your team to set some benchmarks. Your risk management program, where are you likely to fail and how are you going to manage that? And quality management and performance measures, you want to get all those ducks in the same boat and how you can achieve with that. How are you going to monitor your cost and what's your control schedule? You're going to do it quarterly, you're not going to do it, you're going to do it monthly, how are you going to do that? And then you celebrate, because celebrations are really important if you've been successful. We don't do that often enough.